Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Happy Devil's defense. He is operating in Gold 3 at 32 million. We got just a few tweaks on this. We're going to replace a garbage team and do something a little bit different from what we normally see in Room 1. And so be sure to check that out. If you guys want to see these recorded live, we do them on Fridays. I do stream most weekdays around noon Central Time. And so you can come by and see them. And if you want your defense featured on Defense Up, the links are in the description below. Send me a DM and I will get you on the list. All right. Room number 1 is the teamwork room. Now, we have Black Widow in here. The idea of this room, of course, is that the first person goes as a striker, or everybody else is a striker, and they assist. And Black Widow is like the fastest character in the game. However, Noir is actually faster in this room because of positive effects on the opponent's team. So sometimes Black Widow could actually be the faster character, depending on who your opponent brings in. However, Black Widow opens with her special, which gives a chance of speed up to some teammates, and it doesn't actually do an attack, and so no one follows her in. She turns out to be a bad choice, even if she's a striker. So what you could do is replace her with Noir. So long as you have the T4 in Noir's passive, he'll go fast enough. Everybody will assist him, assuming that they are strikers as well. You can leave your Noir as a skirmisher to place that vulnerable for 10% extra damage, or you can make him a striker so on somebody else's turn, they can go. However, on Happy Devil's roster, he does not have his Noir built at all. And so what we're going to do is the 5-piece Secret Defenders, because he has Doctor Strange and Photon built to about 60, 70,000, which isn't a lot, but it's enough. It's enough to give the speed to Hardlight so that she goes first and can outspeed a lot of characters in the game. And then she will be taunting, and it kind of forces your opponent to do their first attacks into her and can screw up the whole match. And at the very least, it'll be a slog for your opponent to go through. So for Happy Devils, we're going to get Vol and Black Widow out of here. We can use Vol on an offensive composition. We'll talk about it in a minute. And we'll put Doctor Strange and Photon in here instead. And that should really work well. Being that Photon and Doctor Strange are so much smaller, we may want to consider putting Hardlight in the middle and those two over the corners. So when they die, Hardlight's gapped, or you could put Hardlight on one side. You could put one or both of them next to Hardlight over there. Or you could just keep them away from Hardlight if you want them to try and stay alive. Black Cat has immunity a lot of the times, sometimes Safeguard. So there's different options. Just think about your placement, how big those characters are. If they're all equally spaced, you'll probably just put them in here in place of Vol and Black Widow. Black Widow and Black Cat in the same room. I can't believe I got through those names correctly. I wanted to stumble over them a lot. As is with Black Widow opening with her special, this is no good. It's pretty wasteful, and it's got to get changed to something else. There's also the opportunity to move this entire team into a different room as well, but that gets complicated because then we're shuffling a lot of teams around. But the way this is built, this is like a D+. It's really it's gonna get rolled pretty easy because of the way it functions. So let's get Black Widow out of there for sure. Room number 2 is hot trash. This one is a D-. It's totally gonna get destroyed by just about anything. It's a horrible team. Luckily, you saved Fury for offense, and that's the only reason I'm not giving you a flat-out F on this. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of this team. This team, however, with Fury, can be used to go up against Infinity Watch on offense. It's a very useful counter. You can throw it on auto, and it basically rolls over the Infinity Watch. Infinity Watch still taking lots of turns, but this is something you can use on offense against that one team. We're seeing a lot of Infinity Watch all over the place. So this could be used for offense. We're going to replace it with Gamma. Gamma is terrible for offense, at least in this season of Crucible, and so we're going to throw Gamma in here, treat it like a blank room, and then we'll move on. Team number 3, Doom is a very versatile piece for offense. I use him on offense every single Crucible for something. There's always a place for him, especially when you pair him with a pre-taunt tank and he gets pushed. You can force your opponent into giving you 3 extra turns right off the rip. It's It's really useful, especially going into gammas, right? So I want to get Doom out of here for sure. I'd also like to get Surfer out of here because I think that a straight up black order is going to be as good or better than this. The only thing that this might do is trick your opponent into using a little more than they need to because Doom's in here, but I doubt it. So let's go with a straight black order, but we're going to take Corvus Glaive out and replace him with a fully built Quicksilver. Happy Devils has a big Quicksilver. And that creates a little bit more of a scary team than this, and it's something your opponents can underestimate, right? So otherwise, the ISOs are fine. This is a thing that some people do and can be done, but it's not very exciting. I'd like to save that Doom for offense, and I don't think that Silver Surfer is really doing much for this other than an AoE and that ability block. So for me, this is like a C+ kind of team. I think if we go straight black order and Quicksilver, it's going to be much more efficient. And operating at gold 3, it's going to throw a lot of people off, and I think they might actually stumble over that one. And room number 4 is Infinity Watch. There's the opportunity to change Moondragon to a healer here. It's not that big a deal. Don't waste blue ISOs on switching things over at this time. Infinity Watch continues to be valuable. It just continues to be a valuable team in Cosmic Crucible. I can't tell people to invest more in the team because you never know when it's going to finally fall off. But that safeguard with immunity and defense up, this team just sticks to the board and you can't get rid of them. So it's a great team. It works well in the Spec Ops room as well. So this is fine. I can give this team an A. Speaking of Crucible, it does look like the in-game timer is correct. We have like 28 more days at the time of this recording of Crucible. It was extended out. So get used to these rooms for a little bit longer. All right, room number 5 is the Death Seed. Now at higher levels, we're getting rid of Death Seed. They can be beaten by quite a few things. Pegasus, Eternals, they can be mirrored even in room 5, they can be mirrored. It's scary, but it works. So it kind of sucks, but at the roster level that we're working with and in Gold 3, this is what we're going to go with. It doesn't even offend us too much that Magneto is a Raider. That was a traditional Raid ISO choice, and apparently Jarvis is still recommending it, which is incorrect. He should be a striker. On this team and in this room, he should be a striker. But again, ISOs being what they are, and this team is going to fall off the face of the earth as far as value is concerned because they're being replaced in raids. And there's just no reason to build them. Happy Devils already has his big boy APOC. There's just no reason to build this team anymore. So don't waste your ISOs. And go ahead and keep Magneto as a Raider. They're going to be using the same things to beat it, whether he's a Raider or a striker. And it's not really going to change your point spread. So this is just fine. It will leave it. I'm going to give this a B+. It's not exciting or anything, but it's what we've got to work with. And finally, in room number 6, we have the Rebirth team plus Zemo. And once again, this is the best thing that we've got on our list. We went over offensive teams. There was talk about maybe bringing a Darkhold in to replace some of this stuff. But ultimately, this is where it's at. You've got a pretty big Captain America in there throwing up the taunt. We do want to move Peggy Carter to the outside, so I got to dock you for that. We like those smaller tunes in the back row, giving gap placement in case they die. You've got 3 up front, no way to chain across in between them unless you are going into it with Nightcrawler. I don't know why you would do that. So all in all, I can give this one an A- because of where we're at with our rosters. Ultimately, a lot of these teams are going to get replaced as we continue to grow our rosters, as new teams filter in. But it's not worth chasing the stuff that people are using right now for where Happy Devils is at. Because by the time they get up into Diamond 1, 2, 3, on up to Platinum, or vice versa, reverse those. By the time they move up, a lot of the stuff that we're using in Platinum and Diamond isn't going to be used anymore, and I don't want people chasing the wrong thing. So kind of stay where you're at. And then, of course, we thought it was going to be like next week we were changing room rules, but now it's 28 days out. And that kind of sucks because I'm tired of these rules. I liked them, but I'm done with them, and I'd like to see those go away. All in all, this isn't so bad. Again, the placement change over here would make it a little bit better, just keeping Peggy away from Captain America. Don't ever put her next to Captain America. But thank you, Happy Devils, for sending yours in. Again, if you guys want yours featured, the links are down in the description below. And if you want to listen to the amazing content creators who come on voice and help me figure all of this stuff out, because I am not smart enough to handle all of these mode-specific novel kits that are coming out these days. There's some great content creators in here, too many for me to list. Come listen to them bicker and fight amongst themselves, splitting hairs over stuff that probably doesn't even matter. It's actually a really good conversation. We have a lot of people that enjoy it. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.